bring them into the next round of the Regional Gauntlet qualifier. And the bans have already gone underway. Gangplank and Rek'Sai taken away once again. Shen, the immediate ban coming out from Snake as Tom Kench, the second ban to follow.
Like to see the Kench hit the bench. We've seen a lot of success yesterday in the best of 5 between BDG and RNG. Same story has really carried over today.
It's the same bans coming out from Vici as what we saw in game number 1. Gangplank, Rek'Sai, and Nah. Whereas Echo's the final ban that comes out from Snake. Malzahar left open as well as the Lissandra, which is instantly locked in here for Vici.
So finally, we get our wish. Easyhoon gets his hands on that champion. We'll keep tabs to make sure that he runs the double teleport. One of the big charms of Lissandra right now is her cost-efficient itemization, her incredible wave control and clear. The fact that she does work very well with double TP. You know, she's not someone like a Malzahar or a Victor, and when they run double teleport and they go into a side lane, they're incredibly fragile and brittle, like just explode. She can protect herself, set up time for her team to surround her.
Does leave the Taliyah left open if Snake decided to pick it up. Vici banned it in the last 2 games. It did fall through Champion Select in game number 1. Neither picked or banned during that match.
Worth considering, of course, the Malzahar is also a flex, so I wouldn't expect a Taliyah in the first rotation. However, if they decide that it isn't a mid lane Malzahar, I would like to see it.
Well, it is picked up. Malzahar and Sivir, the first 2 lock-ins coming out for Snake.
And naturally, that's the big thing, the fact that they've already shown their hand with Lissandra. I doubt that will be a flex pick just because it's a big Easyhoon champion, so they don't need to take the mid laner here. I always love the tandem pickup of Sivir with Malzahar. One of the few things that Malzahar struggles with is his ability to engage and to get onto team fights. He's very reliant on the 700 cast range of his ultimate. With that on the hunt, it just makes him even more threatening.
Just waiting to see what Vici are going to pick up next year. They did lock in the first pick, Lissandra, which Snake have been denying from them every single time. Either picking or banning themselves as a lock-in of the Taric comes out for Vici, as well as Dandy picking up the Graves.
Lots of respect. Tom Kench being banned, Taric just seems to be the next best thing that worked against them. Vici have come into this next game and said, well, everything that you had that works is now ours. We own that now.
Pretty much trading compositions. We'll see if they find the same success that Jay-Z did with the champion. Again, Taric does not have the greatest win rate in the LPL. They really struggle on how to use him. SofM looked very comfortable, understanding that when I am invulnerable, I can dive towers. But the rest of his team really did back off, so see if Vici share a similar mindset.
I'd wager Dandy is pretty aggressive when he has it.
I would assume so. My concern really is Endless Caveman and Long. I'm not really concerned ever with Dandy.
Let's see if Dandy can use it effectively. For now, though, Snake, they lock in Alistar as well as Gragas as their next 2 picks.
I actually really like the pick of Alistar into Taric. Again, we're talking about like cooldown windows, and Taric has really big ones that you can play around because if he misses his stun, he effectively has nothing. There's a big time window where Ali can get in with his pulverized headbutt combo to push or to counteract any sort of stun that will come up. Obviously, if he walks right into the Taric stun, he'll also be stunned. And then he can also match Taric's heal or the slight sustain that lane will bring with his own Triumphant Roar.
Wow, Vici putting out a full damage team comp here as Rumble's being locked in for Lung up on the top side of the map. It seems like they want to be picking up Ashe as their AD carry of choice.
They've got a lot of objective control with that Rumble pickup. So the fact that they have Lissandra and then Ashe, big pick composition, and then they have the big equalizer. Excuse me, Jhin.
I'm aligned with Jhin.
It seems like the pick that they're going to be going for here is Endless. Locks in the Jhin, finally switches away from the Ashe pick.
Same thing really still exists though. They have great control over big areas. So the Dragon Pit, the Baron Pit, this is a very strong composition.
Arguably better, given what they have right now, as the crowd's very much enjoying a hover of Olaf. The Rumble can put down the Equalizer on top of someone that's trapped by the Jhin, or the Equalizer can slow them down so the Jhin can trap them. It does work both ways. Couple that with the ultimate, and there is a lot of damage that will come from extremely long ranges. If they ever get at you, you've got Taric then, so you'll be able to be invulnerable. And it means that there's a lot of protection to the multiple carries that Vici have got.
But only if they go forward, and that's what I'm going to emphasize here. Taric is actually fairly poor used reactionary as opposed to proactive. So if they do dive back onto this backline, if that Olaf does get locked in, runs through, or more realistically, if the Alistar gets a big headbutt pulverized into the backline, you're still waiting for that initial timing window before the invulnerability takes place.
So waiting to see what that final pick for Snake is going to be. It seems like they're going with the Poppy as their top lane pick of choice for Flandre.
Yeah, looking at that Poppy, thinking about it strategically, what it actually does for the team right now is Let's just say Caveman decides to press his
I was
ultimate
going to say it's a counter to
and
Tarek.
gets knocked away. Really far away. No one's going to be invulnerable. So there's a real possibility here that the Poppy can get into the backline, can work with SofM and or tank even Jay-Z, and take apart what Vici have got to offer.
And we've seen a bit of Poppy. It was primarily Saint Acorn, their former top laner, as they were relegated as the primary pickup for this champion, but she didn't fall completely off the board.
Let's see how Flandre uses it heading into this match. He's up against a Rumble on the top side of the map. Vici, like you mentioned, have a very damaging team composition. 4 carries and a single Taric to protect them all.
It's great area of control again if it comes down to these Dragon, these Baron fights. On the other side, I'm looking across Snake's Haunt. They've got great wave control in Sivir and Malzahar, so they should have at least control over the bottom side of the map and keeping both Tank and then Crystal and Jay-Z locked under their tower.
So what do we expect from these two teams? It seems like you said, Vici, lots of control around the major objectives, lots of control around the neutral monsters, and lots of team fight presence. Snake, on the other hand, seems like they're really good around the lanes and turrets.
I'm going to make the bet that this is Snake, that they'll prioritize fighting either between their mid and bottom side, although we like to see SofM and Flandre get ahead. That means that SofM will have to pay attention to that Poppy, make sure that she can push out against the Rumble. Rumble should have the push there. Whereas Dandy on the other side has much more control of the top side of the map. You've got Lissandra and then you have Rumble, so they should be able to push out and open up space for him to contest SofM there.
The decision has to be made, though, on if Dandy wants to help his lanes that are winning win harder or help the lanes that are losing to get back in it. So if he decides to go bottom lane, help Endless and Caveman and stop Crystal and Jay-Z from pushing in, then it could mean that junglers will be on the opposite side of the map, but he might want to meet SofM in the battlefield.
Well, let's check in and see what Danny decides to do. Is he going to take it to SofM? Is he going to take it to the other lanes? We'll have to find out. Snake, they brought us to game 4. Now it's time to see if they can take us to game number 5 as we're on to Summoner's Rift for the 4th match between Vici and Snake.
Pressure was on and Snake chose to step up in game number 3, taking us here. I can't expect that they're going to slow down. They've got damage across the board in both these compositions. We have great threats both early and late game on either side, so there should be power points everywhere.
As, the chain has been broken, so no more Infernal Dragon spawning first. This time around, that's going to be an Ocean Dragon that pops up on Summoner's Rift.
Means that there's more priority on just fighting over Raptor and Krug camp, because the Dragon's not that important.
Which is great for SofM, if you think about it.
Hey, to be fair, pool partied Graves. There's a buff over Ocean Drake.
So we do see a bit of a different level 1. It's been defensive fans for pretty much the entire of the finals, as well as this regional qualifier. Another R word. But they do get a bit of a delayed ward on the Raptor camp to find where SofM is starting.
And again, same side start, though, as every single game that we've had. It's starting to become a little bit predictable. However, SofM is the epitome of unpredictable. So it's good to have that vision and know where he's actually going to be. Acknowledge the fact that he's starting there. And he's actually starting Raptors.
I see your ward, now watch me take this camp.
He starts off with the Raptor camp. We'll get a little bit of help from Poppy. So let's see where he moves from there. Danny this time around starts on the Gromp. Opts not to take down Blue Buff first. So SofM immediately moves straight back towards the red buff.
It feels
starting at that second.
Reactive from Dandy, saying, well, if you're going to start Raptors, I can easily start the Gromp and get an extra bit of farm. Graves, very quick clearing champion.
Oh, that's bad.
Jay-Z taking a lot of damage from that crit shot that comes out from Endless there. Gets stunned up by Caveman on top of that. Good start for the bottom lane for Vici.
Really needs to respect the threat of Endless's crit. Level 1 Alistar, not necessarily his big power point, obviously looking for that level 2 all-in, but with him being so low health, probably looking for level 3 is Crystal.
That's a big stun. Exhaust being used onto Endless, even gets the crit onto the Sivir. So Summoner spell being burnt by the Alistar just to keep the Sivir alive.
Yeah, but a really good exhaust to ensure that he does, in fact, stay alive. Otherwise, that could have been lights out for Crystal. Of course, the heal is still available.
Both junglers also now on the bottom side of the map, although Dandy, the faster at clearing, does have the camp advantage.
So there's still fighting going on the bottom side of the map. Crystal incredibly low with no mana. SofM might be caught out here. Has to body slam over the wall as Dandy stops his path. from getting into the bottom lane.
And Jay-Z has really just given up this bottom lane by not positioning correctly. Now SofM in trouble.
Has to be careful. Dandy flashes forward, doesn't get the Q off the wall in time, and SofM has to flash away.
But again, this starts with Alistar taking bad trades, making sure that Sivir and Ali lose the initial early 1v1. But hold on, top side.
Top side of that, Flandre taking a lot of damage from Long, who's been pushing into this poppy quite well.
They lose the early 1v1. It gives lane control to Endless and Caveman. Dandy immediately capitalizes on it, invades SofM, now 3-buffs him.
Gets that delayed 3-buff. It's Endless and Caveman still pushing aggressively forward towards Jay-Z and Crystal.
I mean, funnily enough, Crystal may not have much health, but the Alistar is still perfectly capable of keeping him in this lane and actually ensuring that he is healthy. So far, it doesn't look that great, but they're still in it. They still have the same farm, and everyone's just fighting each other really to no avail, besides Dandy.
Endless has gone back to base, picks up a coal as his first item. Now Crystal and Jay-Z will do the same thing.
Dandy, spotted out by a ward, is looking for an invade.
He's picked up a Hunter's Potion for himself, so has SofM. Seems to be the item of choice when junglers are forced to go back early.
And with this information, SofM's actually just going to trade a camp, so moving on to Dandy's Raptor camp.
He takes that one down for himself. Junglers staying fairly even in farm, but Dandy did get the 3-buff to start things off. Now it's going to be easy to face checks on towards SofM. Raptor Sense will get popped as a smite does come down from SofM to get it for himself.
Easy Hoon gives him an auto attack on the way out, so just gives him a slap and says goodbye. Unfortunately for Easy Hoon though, that ward that as he placed it dies means that they have no vision of SofM, simply assumed knowledge. Thankfully, Caveman's got it covered.
Sidestep coming up from SofM, can't quite dodge the Deadly Flourish. At insult to injury, Caveman picks up the small Krug.
Actually, a lot of respect there to Vici's bottom lane. That was a 2v3 scenario. There's actually a buy advantage in favor of Crystal because he does have the double longsword as well as Doran's, but choosing not to commit on that.
Yeah.
I was expecting Jay-Z to go in, but he's going in now.
That is crazy. Goes in, tries to get some damage down towards Endless. It takes a lot for that. Crystal throws out the Boomerang Blade to get a good trade going in.
This is what I expected from this lane. So Crystal and Jay-Z, again, with that back and item advantage in Sivir's back pocket, in a much healthier spot in the lane. And again, we'll now start to open up more space for SofM on the bottom side of the map, whereas, as we said before, Long has complete control of the wave on the top side. So it's now that question that Rusty proposed. Will the jungler show up to help the losing lane, or will they go to the lane that's winning?
Right now, Long is winning very hard. To be perfectly honest, with the minions advantage that he's acquired for himself, there's a chance that Dandy just goes up there or just tries to find SofM.
Bottom side of the map, it's still going to be Crystal that pushes in against Endless and Caveman, making sure the minion wave is always underneath their turret. Dandy will be able to spot out this pink ward and take it down, or not, as he just wraps around and goes back and realizes he has to clear it out.
Something that's happened in the top side of the map as Dandy's been actually spotted bottom is that Long was able to retain his teleport. He is level 6, whereas Flandre had to use hers. So Poppy really getting slapped around up there, and now a opportunity for Vici to look globally on this map for a play.
As they're going into the bottom lane, Endless getting jumped on, SofM coming in. There is a teleport into the back lines, but Endless incredibly low, still staying alive. And there's the Rumble Equalizer trying to cut everyone off. Dandy's here as well. SofM falls for first blood, and they're trying to pincer in between Crystal and Jay-Z. He gets the pulverize on the two, but does get slowed down by the electric harpoons, locked down by the deadly flourish, and Sivir's stuck between a rock and a hard place as he tries to fight it away out.
Yeah.
Easy Hoon's here, looking at the lockdown Crystal. He's got nowhere to run. That's 5 members of Vici right on top of him. And 3 big picks coming up from Vici just 7 minutes into the game.
And that was set up by Jay-Z, making up for his lackluster level 1 as the Jhin ultimate opens up just to clear the wave, and followed through by Long. Again, miscommunication from Snake. No one told them across the map that Flandre didn't have the TP advantage, and they let themselves get engaged upon.
So this is where I think you're actually a little bit wrong. There was a ping specifically onto the teleport ward from Snake about 10 seconds before they flash engaged. The fact that Endless didn't die, I think, is ultimately where they went wrong. They could have found a kill there, but that was far too aggressive from them knowing that Long was available to be there.
And that's
communicated but ignored.
And that's given Vici a 2,000 gold lead very early into this match. The only thing that Snake get off of that is Flandre getting a little bit of damage onto the top lane outer turret. Well, even Lung now, he's got his Boost of Swiftness and the Hextech Revolver looking to punish this lane even more.
So the real scary thing is before that fight even happened, the solo laners of Vici have been winning their respective lanes through at least farm values. That's now exacerbated, and it's going to grow out of proportions if it continues in that way.
And gold spread very evenly for Vici as well. One kill for the top mid and 80 carry at the moment. Exactly where they would like the gold to be to start things off. As the Endless has gone back to base and picked up the serrated Dirk for himself.
Checking across on itemization, Easyhoon looking through the Hextech Revolver as well as the CDR boots. I actually really like the priority of the CDR boots, just 'cause it's going to give him that 10% reduction on the summoner spells, which means that TP and that flash will be up and available more often. Again, the thing that I wanted from Easyhoon is for him to unlock himself from the lanes, to get involved in these side lanes. I know that he can do that. He's shown it before on his Lysandra, which is why he never gets it. Hold on.
Well, he's locking down Easyhoon. The ultimate coming out from tank. Easyhoon forced to use the ultimate on himself. SofM! That is inexcusable.
Such a rare misstep from SofM. Normally he is so on point with his mechanics.
That's rather unfortunate.
That's a pick gone wrong. Easyhoon gets the flash out of there as Crystal uses the spell shield to block out the stun from Tarek. Deadly Flourish doesn't connect from Endless in the bottom lane.
That is 2 big cooldowns traded for Easyhoon's 1. His teleport will be back available relatively soon, as well as that key Frozen Tomb ultimate. So again, kind of another brewing storm for Vici to make a cross-map play.
The real problem that I'm now looking at, though, is the first brick hasn't actually been secured, and Vici are 2.4 thousand gold ahead. It just feels like at any moment that could crack, and that gold lead just gets out of, like, it gets ridiculous very quick.
So we'll have to find where that first pressure point is really going to be for Vici as well.
It's definitely going to be on that Frozen Tomb cooldown. The teleport is back up. Long's TP is about to come back up. I have a feeling it's going bottom lane. That's where I'd put my money.
But or they recall and bring it mid lane using the Jhin. So I think it revolves around the Jhin and the Lysandra being together. Perhaps the Rumble, it could actually come out from an Ocean Drake fight, noting that the Equalizer is now available again.
So Lockdown Crystal get a good amount of damage from both Caveman and Endless. Still putting a lot of pressure on towards this Sivir, who only has the Caulfield's Warhammer and Doran's Blade as well as the Cull.
Puts a lot of pressure on Tank in particular. The fact that he doesn't have that TP, he has to be so on the ball to follow a quick rotation.
SofM taking a lot of damage from Dandy though.
Yeah, not having a great start to this 4th game. Really is struggling to get it done. Dandy's controlling him, and that's just the nature of both of these junglers.
Uh-oh. Dandy might be in a bit of trouble as they look to try and chase him down, but Caveman's here as well.
Yeah, again, you got to look at the bottom lane. So Vici's bottom lane's winning, Caveman's able to rotate.
They clear out even more wards. Dragon's still up and online. Vici have good control over this river.
But we had timed backs, bottom, Long, and Easyhoon are on item advantages, which is why they're pulling the trigger right now with Proto Belt.
Protocol comes out. Easyhoon looking to try and go in. Dandy's right behind him, but on top of the wall.
He doesn't know how deep he is.
Now he might be in a little bit of trouble because Snake trying to collapse on top of him. Headbutt Pulverized combo comes out. Dandy is exhausted, locked down by the ultimate. Snake capitalize on Dandy's position and get a pick for themselves.
The unfortunate thing here for Snake, whilst they get a pick, is that Flandre just cancelled his teleport. He's actually not going to be able to come and impact this bottom lane, whilst Vici can continue to do so, utilizing that Rumble potentially. They've got the health advantage, and the no mana is not really a problem for them. It is now.
So SofM moving down to the bottom lane. Ultimate being used there by Caveman just to stop any engage coming out from Snake.
Just threatening. SofM doesn't have his flash, so entirely reliant on a good cask if he wants to set up any sort of gank.
Yeah, no flashes available for all of them, yet Tarek ulted out of respect. Suppose we said better safe than sorry.
And now a bit quiet. Vici lost a lot of momentum off of Dandy getting picked up there, so the play fizzled out. Need to reset their jungler on the map and start looking again for making these cross-teleport plays, especially with that window they have over Flandre.
They're looking for red buff, I think, as a steal here. Lung has control of the lane and Flandre's recalling. Remember, no teleport.
Looking to take this one down. Dandy going to be clearing this one out, stopping SofM to picking up the red buff for himself.
There's a lot of attention right now mid lane. Easyhoon. Careful, buddy.
Yep, did you see Jay-Z and SofM rotating around together inside of Vici's jungle?
And it automatically prompts the back recall from both Endless as well as Caveman, because they just saw both Gragas and Alistar clear a pink ward heading bottom.
Yeah, they know they're safe to recall, but not to stay under that turret or they'll get dove. They haven't actually gone back to base. And there's a fair chunk of items that is available for them to pick up now, you'd expect.
So still pushing down this bottom lane. Turret is fairly healthy, and Dandy's even rotating down towards the bottom side of the map to stop this one from falling.
They might find Dandy in their rotation. Look at all the vision once again that Snake have got.
Red buff's coming up as well for Vici. Seems like that's what Snake want to fight for. Dandy.
Oh, it's just unfortunate, really.
No one saw that.
No, they still haven't seen SofM.
Who's now going to come out? That's a
Great
quick
flash.
coming out from Caveman.
And it's also kind of a bluff from SofM. Truth be told, Vici have done a phenomenal job backing together and backing at appropriate times to make sure that they're always running as a unit. Crystal was actually back in base right there, so that was technically a 3v4. Yes, they could have had the advantage that SofM pops them with the cast and they're able to just delete someone at the beginning of the fight, but you're still fighting at numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, it was definitely a bluff. There was never going to be too big of a commit there. However, the flash without vision was ridiculous.
And they're still looking to push out this wave against Crystal. Very even in this bottom lane. Neither team has really looked towards the dragon either. That's been standing and hasn't taken any damage at all this game.
Endless showing that he can play more than one champion to a decent level as well. So far, so good from the Jhin.
Still waiting to complete his Yomu's Ghostblade. Does have the components ready. 2 Hextech Protobelts completed for the side of Vici. Both Long and Easy Hoon to pick theirs up. Warrior's Enchantment now complete as well for Dandy.
Dandy's quite far behind in terms of farming. SofM, hello. He's actually 58 to 78, which is a big deal because a lot of those are the jungle creeps, although some of them are the lane. But otherwise, every single other lane is actually an advantage towards Vici.
So looking to try and collapse here. Tank was trying to see if he can get the ultimate down on towards Easy Hoon, who just gets jumped on. Protobelt knocks off the passive and uses the ult to lock him down. They delete Tank from the mid lane.
He just died with Flash and Ghost up.
But that was so good from Easy Hoon because the Spell Shield passive was available. It lasts for 0.25 after the first spell is used, and the channel time of the ultimate is the exact same as the reducing of that Spell Shield. That was incredible from Easy Hoon.
Now we have to see what Vici going to be able to do with this pick. For now, it's just sweeping out wands and getting control over the map. Dandy makes his way towards the top side of Summoner's Rift. Seems like they're creating a pressure point against Flandre. Easy going to get jumped on here by SofM.
Yeah,
there's Jay-Z. Easy flashes away from it. Does have the Protobelt to get back to safety. There's a teleport into the mid lane. Easy should be going down into Crystal. The teleport does get cancelled as well as Dandy forces Flandre back. Even a flash being used, and now Crystal getting jumped on. Spell Shield going to get hit by the bouncing grenade, so he does get locked down. Heal being used, but it's not enough. Curtain Call to open things up. SofM gets tagged, slowed up, has to body slam out. Jay-Z in trouble. Equalized in a perfect position as Caveman picks up that kill.
Just big plays from Vici here. Endless, that was a well-timed stun, actually baiting the spell shot out of the Q animation. So the Jhin play here from Endless is definitely putting in work. Lung's hitting all of the equalizers, and Vici, they collapse where it matters.
Lung's being locked down under the turret. There's a teleport coming to the mid lane by Easy Hoon. Let's see if he channels it complete. Does actually, gets into this mid lane.
And they almost didn't kill him as well. The exhaust was enough to slow him down. Used his claw to dodge the pulverize. Easy Hoon was close to living. More than he deserved based on his positioning.
And all of this action across the map, and we still have yet to break the first brick.
That's still a 3,000 goal lead for Vici very early into this game. They're going to try and press their advantage wherever possible. Endless going to go back to base, look to pick up his Yomu's Ghostblade and a few other components for his next item.
Big breakpoint right there, having the Ghostblade available, whereas Siver's still sitting in between items.
There's set a few components, but he goes straight back to base, gets the Yomu's as well as a BF sword. He was sitting on a lot of gold during that fight. As Flandre sneaking around the bush, finds Long. Long still getting a lot of damage down.
Him here.
As Rumble is fighting him, gets slammed into the wall, overheats, so no spells yet. Gonna still put out the Flame Spitter and go toe-to-toe against Flandre, dealing a ton of damage to this puppy. as Dandy will spot out SofM.
And that's Dandy doing his job, essentially. Just find SofM, stop him from making a play with Flandre.
There's also Easy Hoon sitting in the wings here.
You can see a very different heat map for Dandy in this game, mostly in his side of the jungle.
I don't know, there's some bright spots over that Gromp camp. If SofM has made his presence known over Krugs, I think it's fair to say that Dandy owns the Gromp.
Got him.
Sandy looking to try and take down more buffs for himself. Smite battle comes out between the two. Seems like it was SofM that picked it up. This secures his jungle.
Big deal against the Prince of Thieves.
Well, Dandy takes the Raptors for himself. SofM be very sad about that.
Still a lot of action over this top side, though.
Makes sense. These two in the bottom lane are actually just meant to be the facilitators. It was a bit of an anomaly in the early stages of these other games. But back to where it really counts now, in the games that really count.
This mid lane out of turret, incredibly low. Chip damage coming out from Easy Hoon and the rest of Vici means that one push would be enough to take it down. This was
coming up behind them.
Ward being defended here by Crystal. There's the spell shield. Crystal in trouble. Gets taken down by Dandy. Now Jay-Z has to run away. Tarek ultimate being used by Caveman just to make sure everyone stays nice and healthy.
For what it's worth, it's good play from Dandy, but Caveman really needs to work on pressing his R button at the right time as they look for the play.
Snake are going in, looking to try and get the engage. Dandy's being locked down. That's the jungler from the side of Vici. Kurtikal comes out. Lung's here. That's a choke point for him that he puts Equalizer down, but hits nobody. Flandre now going to bop him out of their spy, looking for the ultimate to go down. There goes the Rumble. Ejected from Summoner's Rift. That's a 1-for-1 trade between the two teams.
He wasn't looking for the Rumble. Lung shoved his face in front of it so that he got out alive. Otherwise, he was separated from the rest of his team. And so Snake, they'd make the counterplay. Again, if Caveman had his ultimate, didn't waste it to the Sivir damage, things could have been different.
Ultimately, though, nothing is taken or traded across the map other than some pocket kill gold on Dandy. No one's able to rotate this and to, again, pushing down an objective like the tower or the Ocean Dragon.
You can see the gold graph in very Vici style, slowly but surely climbing up as the game progresses. Very different from the way Snake played in that last match where they took a very commanding lead. 50 minutes into the game. But all two games to say that Vici have won so far means similar to how this fourth game is going for them.
I like the fact that Snake are actually changing things up. They've sent their bottom lane to the top side. They're going to race for this tower because Easy Hoon is really certain to
you should have recalled. No, he's fine. The pulp missed.
Yep, JC just pulverizes the ground like an angry cow he is. Long's going to be able to set fire to both the AD carry and support, but there's an SofM behind him. Has to be careful. Threatens by drinking something from his keg.
Because again, this is a race between Snake and Vici. Vici have bottom as well as mid lane tower that are both very low.
And it seems like Vici going to be the one to pick up the first turret gold here. Endless reloads and gets that last auto attack.
So close.
Snake very close to picking that one up, and Vici also moves straight towards the dragon.
This Rumble will have the equalizer to stop them from over pushing any further, similar to that of the Gangplank when you look at his strengths. And the Drake for a blue buff is how they trade after that point. Good moves from Vici. Even better now they have the pleasant surprise of the next Drake's type.
Kurtikal coming out here, slows down Flandre, has to flash away from it, still gets tagged. It's the final shot just used to clear the wave.
And with so much attention and resources bottom, Snake now have the inside track on this mid lane. They probably won't be able to push it down.
No.
Now afraid of the flank.
Easy Hoon threatening to see if he can get in position to go for that flank.
Yeah, but that's the big thing, figuring out where the Lysandra is, because that's the one that you're worried about.
And rightfully so. Easy Hoon is very well known for the champion. This is his most played champion in 2016. Had a lot of games in Spring Split. It's long.
Here comes Easy Hoon, TP.
In a lot of trouble, but there's the teleport coming in. They're trying to pincer out Snake here on the hunt, being popped just to get them back to safety. So diffuses the sticky situation for Lung on the top side of the map.
That was a lot used just to save Lung, but thankfully Flandre does not have his teleport. Otherwise, Snake could have collapsed once again onto Vici instead of running away with the Sivir ulti.
And now it's Vici with the inside track for the mid lane, and it's at about 10 HP. A stiff breeze will take that one down. Here comes SofM.
Looking to try and get the engage. Ultimate comes in, just separates Vici. Doesn't knock anyone back into the team.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, he could have used it on the wave, but it's gone.
Big ultimate down means Vici might be able to push through for this one. And they do get the turret.
It just delayed the inevitable.
And that does give Vici a nice 4,000 gold lead 23 minutes into this game. 7-3 in kills, 2 turrets to 1 and a single dragon for Vici.
And the attention will now be towards the top side of the map, simply because the last standing outer is up there, as well as the dragon still on cooldown. See that they're rotating long down to the bottom side.
We see Snake moving Crystal towards the top side of Summoner's Rift. Jay-Z will shortly follow to help him out. Danny's going to be spun out by Ward here, and let's try to take down Grump. Danny said, that's mine.
And still no turret to be taken from the way Snake are positioned. They should be putting the Sivir bottom if they want to break objectives. We have to note, though, that the Baron is something that could be looked at. I don't suspect that Vici would, however.
Instead, Vici do match, and they send Jhin and Taric towards the top side of the map.
Vici do have a lot of power right now. Pretty much everyone's close to their core has the first part of it across all of their items. Whereas Snake just still slightly behind.
Yeah, I think the reason that the Sivir is going top lane is to wave clear and stop the Jhin and Taric from breaking any more base turrets. Also, so thankful that this is now a lane in competitive play. It's Jhin and Tonic.
Thank you, Rusty.
My favorite bottom lane duo.
And SofM being a little bit sneaky here.
He's definitely been spotted.
He'll get locked down there. Deadly Flourish doesn't connect on the hunt being used by Crystal just to make sure SofM can get back to safety. Good use of the sweeper lens coming out from Caveman to spot them out. Now Vici sieging for the top lane outer turret. Snake might have a thing or two to say about this. Poppy is still split pushing on the bottom side of the map. Does have teleport available if they need them to join the fight.
Tank has shown himself mid lane, so there's a big opportunity for Vici to just go super aggressive here. I'm actually really surprised that they're being so respectful to Snake.
And Rumble has disappeared into Fog of War, so can teleport up if they need him to.
If I'm Vici, I'm pulling the trigger on the Taric ultimate and I'm just running head first at Snake to brute force the tower. They're going to get it anyway, so I guess maybe might as well not use the cooldown. Oh, there we go. Finally,
Crystal
they got it.
has to flash away. SofM body slams forward just to block the bullets coming out from the curtain call. Last one will be put back into the chamber as he reloads and goes straight back towards the turret.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. We figured it out, boys. They found out they were strong.
Yeah, I think they were just playing around vision. They'd rather have no health available or summoner spells burn, in this case by Crystal or someone of Snake, before they commit to the objective. Also, putting EasyHoon mid without teleport means that it was going to be a 3v3, and it's a delicate fight when there are still a lot of items for Crystal.
So eventually they take down that turret. It's now 3-1 in turrets. Featured a team of 1,000 cuts, staying true to their playstyle. Doing just that, taking objective after objective. Flandre, we're going to try and collapse on towards Lung. Just gets a bit of damage down as Poppy. And another Ocean Dragon will be coming back up in a minute 30. Vici will be able to take down the first one. Do have the gold advantage at the moment.
Obviously, what's more precious, though, is that Baron, despite the fact that they already have an Ocean Drake in their back pocket. So I don't expect everyone to immediately depart from the top side of the map.
Style differences as well to be noted from Vici. Playing against a Malzahar, the Graves and the Jhin go for the QSS, but EasyHoon doesn't need one apparently. The Abyssal Scepter will suffice.
He's so tanky.
He is actually. All of those items, health, cooldown reduction, and resistance. It's a very efficient item build that Lissandra can go for, and one of the main reasons why she's starting to come back. That's 40% CDR secured, and resistances across the board.
The fact that she can so easily itemize into both armor and MR.
It's also kind of what we talked about earlier before the series started. EasyHoon really patched in so far. Patches have gone in his favor and really well towards his playstyle.
To be fair, Azir did drop off. Doesn't have a lot of great matchups on 6.15, as well as he doesn't do as well in a double teleport meta.
One thing not going EasyHoon's way.
That's like the biggest thing ever, Spawn Fish.
Hello.
Spawn will be sad I said that.
Doesn't even look like Jade.
I know. Great. I have no idea where that came from.
He doesn't got a beard, there's no glasses. Who are you?
You're just missing a little bit too much, Rusty.
The dragon has spawned, however, so I mean, if you want the hard advance, if you want the dragon, the free objective, you take it.
Snake are looking to try and take that one down. Have 4 members over this pit. 5 now that Flandre's joined them.
Yeah, the objective control and the rate at which they can burn these very high with the Sivir and the Malzahar, so if you leave him alone for a second, easy, you're not pulling that.
He just threatens to do it.
Scaring them because he wants to push this middle wave, at least deny the wave from Snake.
And he gets a little bit of chip damage onto the mid lane inner turret. Is not able to take it down.
No, and Vici not able to answer. The Drake being taken down is unfortunate. I thought they might have liked a fight. Having a Rumble in your team composition means objective control, such as the Drake, is usually a big deal. They just opt not to.
And that's 2 times now that I feel like Vici have been a bit trigger shy. They had the teleport available. There was no one to stop Long. He was full health. They could have looked for a possible delayed fight in that jungle. There was plenty of wards.
They can afford to wait till level 16 for the Rumble as well. The relative damage that he'll be doing is just absurd past that point.
Makes sense. Might as well give away the Ocean Drake.
Easy Hoon also level 16, so they're starting to hit these big break points of levels.
Rest of Snake just hanging around on their side of the Summoner's Rift. Vici, the ones that have been pushing aggressively towards these turrets, just don't quite have the siege potential, it seems, to take them down. Crystal picking up red buff for himself. Moving straight back into Fog of War.
Vici have done a phenomenal job making sure that all 3 lanes are constantly pushed up to Snake. Like you said, hanging out, it's not so much that as relegated to moving around to Vici's tempo, clearing out the pressure points that they've created, and just trying to keep up with Vici.
SofM gets a good ward down to kind of spot out Vici inside of the mid lane brush.
Level 16, of course, as you can see for Lung.
Fighting in a jungle would be disastrous for Snake against Vici's composition.
And he's got his Void Staff picked up as well as the Leandri's Torment, so lots of magic penetration coming out for Lung. Abyssal Scepter coming out from Lysandra, going to help to that as he just burns through Flandre to start things off. Ultimate being used by Flandre to knock him up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was just being a bit spooky, I suppose, but he didn't really spook Lung. He would have turned around and fought you. Means that you don't have your ultimate. It is a low cooldown, though. We'll be able to get back perfectly fine. Also, lane assignment's actually worth noting at this stage. Flandre running bottom. You would expect the same from Lung. There's no Drake to be looked at, and at 30 minutes, the Baron's a higher priority. And so you go towards the furthest point away so you can have the teleport impact.
But in response, they're actually expecting this, that they know Poppy's going to be bottom side. They're going to pick up the blue buff, and if Flandre doesn't back up, there he goes. He could open himself up to a pick.
Meanwhile, Vici looks to take away Snake's blue buff. Give that over towards Easy Hoon.
Saw that coming,
That's
honestly.
unfortunate.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yet.
It's okay, only 12,000 people saw it live.
Embarrassment.
Whereas Vici still doing exactly what they've been doing for the past 5 minutes or so. Pushing up waves, disappearing into the jungle, taking buffs away. Just rinse and repeat, trying to grip whatever advantage they can. There's still 5,500 gold in the lead. That hasn't grown too much.
Yeah, very slow now. And not a surprise that it's Vici playing it slow, but...
I feel like Vici will never take chances. We're so used to the pace of the other LPL teams create, where it's like 60% chance to win a team fight. Let's go, boys. Vici are like 95, or I'm not moving.
95, I give him 80.
Okay, we'll go 80.
As Lung now moves into the bottom lane, just waits and stays in Fog of War as long as he can. Before setting fire to some minions and just farming it up.
Yeah, his damage has outscaled Flandre's tankiness.
It's got a lot of penetration, so that Spirit Charge won't mean much for Flandre.
You can see 2 Quicksilver Sashes being picked up on the side of Vici as well. 1 for Dandy, 1 being picked up by Endless. Zhonya's Hourglass, like we mentioned earlier, for Easy Hoon will be his escape from the team fights.
This is still a good moment for Vici. They've gone from blue to blue, so they've gone coast to coast of enemies buff. It means that tank is missing 15% of bonus ability power and doesn't have the mana regeneration that the Lysandra has had consistently now. They can start making plays around that fact, honestly, because 15% is a lot.
That hurts. Long and Flandre, they're going at it. There's an Alistar closing in for Snake, so Long has to be careful.
But as soon as Ali appears bottom, if multiple resources go here, that's going to be the trigger for Vici to start Baron.
Good flash coming out from Long, gets away from JC's headbutt pulverized
Give him
combo.
the equalizer.
Now he's the one that's getting locked down. There's that equalizer, forcing the ultimate coming out from JZ. Long hunting them down. He's on top of Flandre. There's a teleport coming into the bottom lane as well. He's overheating, but does have the flames to the back up. There's Lysandra going in, locks down JZ. That's the first pick coming out from Vici. As Crystal, you're forced to flash away from the ultimate of Endless.
So there's two ways to look at that play. Long is being obnoxious in the bottom lane. Either Snake send way too many resources and it's a free Baron for Vici, or he does so well in the 2v1 scenario that Vici's like, might as well just kill them. Pull
There
the
we
trigger,
go.
there's the TP.
Teleport coming in for Long. Seems like they might want to look to try and take down the Baron, or just fight them. As the Protobell being used aggressively forward. That's why I'm forced to flash over the wall. Here comes Easy Hood, looking to try and lock more people down. Doesn't have the flash to get the engage off.
Yeah, remember that Easy Hoon still has his ultimate. He didn't need to use that in the bottom lane. Summoners may not be available, but Vici have absolute control and strength. Blue trinkets what have to be used to spot this being taken down.
And they've started it off. Vici do have a lot of damage, but doing
will
it fairly
still fight
slow.
for it.
There's the Tarek ultimate coming out from Tarek, looking to try and keep them alive a bit longer, but that fizzles out. Snake back away, but as soon as that trigger's been pulled by Caveman.
Ultimate wasted. It pretty much just absorbed a bit of Baron damage as they backed off of it. That Ocean Drake, though, will kick in.
And it's not the first time that Caveman has wasted his ultimate. Very much feels like a denial as they found Caveman.
Snake pull the trigger. Easy Hoon locked down. Can he get the ultimate off? He can't. Crystal gets that first kill. Now Caveman is in trouble. Jay-Z will be taken out. Long gonna get locked up, but Dandy over the top of the wall gets a kill. Still, double kill coming out for Crystal, and that's 4 members of Vici taken down by Snake.
Vici were in control for 99% of this game to this point, but a single misplay, the Tarek ultimate wasted, and then Easy Hoon caught out against a wall. They could turn this into Baron.
Unless they're not on that side of the map. He's waiting, seeing if he can get anything out of this, but he can't. Deadly Flourish too soon as SofM block set up.
Yeah.
The Baron's going to get taken down by Snake. They want to take this to game 5.
So Endless couldn't afford to walk in there and stop them from getting this taken out. He was basically a non-factor in this fight. You can see him now. Just does nothing. Tries to throw out his W and misses it. Long does his absolute best to try and carry and does damage, as does Dandy.
Flashes over the wall.
But Crystal's still here. Crystal's doing a big part in the success of Snake right now. You can tell he's angry from games 1 and 2. He really wants to win.
And that gave a Snake away back into this game. They also take down the Infernal Dragon after picking up Baron buff for themselves. Now only 2,000 gold behind Vici. You see the damage dealt during that fight. It was just the Dandy and Long show. Nobody else from Vici could do anything. Easy of getting locked down to start things off. Still had his ultimate available.
Exactly. That's the key number there. The fact that Lysandra's sitting there at 0 damage done to champions. And it's a single mistake that might cost Vici the game, although we'll see if they can survive and weather the storm of this Baron.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say walking through that choke point against a Poppy and a Gragas is never a smart idea, yet they did it. And this is the consequence that they now have to deal with.
Snake already looking to try and siege this bottom lane with the Baron buff they've picked up. Have gone back to base, picked up a couple items for themselves, but Vici still look very strong in the 5-on-5. As now Snake move on to try and take down the bottom lane inner turn and take it down with ease. Vici don't even try to fight for this one, but Caveman's been separated from the team, forced to use the ultimate, but he's locked down and bopped around the fight. Snake get a pick for themselves.
That was surprising.
And they're going to turn it into more. They're going to break this in-hit line, possibly the inhibitor
They
behind them.
knock Easy Hoon out of the fight. Now Danny's in trouble. He's getting locked down. He gets deleted. As the rest of Snake, they're collapsing. Equalizer's coming in to try and keep Vici's hopes alive. But Snake get what they're looking for, which was the inhibitor. Curtical gets opened up, but the stanking coming out from Snake is just enough to keep themselves and get themselves out of there.
That is 2 mistakes by Caveman back-to-back, and Vici as a whole. They could have just let that go, maybe lost the inhibitor line, or at least stalled at that Baron to save their inhib. There was no reason that 100% that should have gone down.
Yeah, big mistake from Caveman, but well done from SofM to actually say go on that and hit the keg. I am surprised simply because they committed on on Caveman when he had the ultimate available. The ulti doesn't go off because the Malzahar can burn him down so quickly. Once again, a big champion choice.
Now the goal is dead even between Vici and Snake, but Vici's base has been broken. Snake do have the Infernal Dragon picked up early as well. Elder Dragon's going to be the next to spawn on Summoner's Rift.
Getting the vibe, the next Baron fight will be what they look towards. If the Baron runs out and nothing else is taken. One inhib being the bottom inhib is a very big deal for that Baron.
The Elder Dragon should be coming up in about 2 minutes as well, so another big objective for them to fight for. You'll see the swinging gold in this game.
That's not a swing. That's a beat. That is a tiny advantage, which Snake actually just now evened up. Nope, Vici got it back. So, despite all of their efforts, they've really just only been on even footing for Vici. And if Vici can just clean this back up, stop making mistakes, that's where Snake have really thrived. It's not off of being proactive, it's off of being reactive.
I mean, again, they've still got the scaling composition of the Rumble available to them, so they've got more damage threats. It's just that they don't have as many tanks, and that's really where it's starting to go wrong. Tarek's ultimate is important. Caveman can't get caught.
Well, Snake looking to continue taking down turrets. Their Baron buff has expired, but they'll still be able to take down the top lane inner turret. Dandy trying to do what he can and clear out the way, but it's not going to be enough. Easy here and looking to use the claw to get in for an engage. Can't find it. The Snake just take down structure after structure. It's now 6 turrets to 3 in Snake's favor.
Things are going to start to slow down though, although SofM.
They know you're there.
There's a claw going in. He's here, threatening to engage. Doesn't go. Follow up.
Really hard to catch this Malzahar out, having his passive end of Banshee's Veil. It's not going to be easy now to break Snake.
Wow. He's here, gets locked down. He gets shut down. Tank going to take down the carry from the side of Vici. Ultimate coming out from Tarek, doesn't keep him alive now. Endless in trouble, but back into the team. Has to flash away. Flandrace into the back lines as Crystal picks up a double kill. And Snake just worked their way through Vici.
And there's the Poppy counter on the Tarek. Tarek's ultimate tried to come out, was immediately ejected from the team fight, leaving Vici vulnerable, and now their base getting torn to shreds.
With Endless and Easy Hoon gone for over 30 seconds, there's a chance that they just keep pushing. Teleports, I think, used now. They want to end the game.
They took it to game 4 decisively. Now they're looking to come back. They're taking it to game 5. As Caveman's to be taken down. It's going to be the Rumble that falls next. It's only Dandy left alive. Snake, they've been able to do it. They're going to send us to game number 5 as Crystal picks up the double kill and the ace for Snake Esports.
Vici came into the series 2-0 up, and they're now collapsing at the finish line.
And the crowd is excited because game 5 is inevitable. As